We just saw the Winter Olympics conclude. We watched it happen in South Korea. And we saw the Russian team compete, but there were no flags. And this was all on the back of the last couple of years and this movie Icarus, which I don't know if you've seen. It's pretty fascinating. And I have to ask you what you think the state of the union is in performance-enhancing drugs in sport and the Olympics. And what did you make of seeing all that happen? And then
I would say
athletes.
doping is going down.
Okay.
Dramatically.
Dramatically. But
the first sport to clean out, and it'll surprise most people, is actually weightlifting.
Okay. Olympic weightlifting.
Yes. And
do you believe the assertions of that movie that the entire Russian team has been doping for the entirety of the Olympics since the 60s?
Earlier,
50s, 40s. 30s.
Yeah, they're the first ones to use testosterone injections.
Okay. In sport or in war or?
The first application of testosterone injections at a large scale were the Nazis or the SS, because they figured out, so they developed testosterone injections, and then
to make them more aggressive and make
more
them stronger.
aggressive, and then ability to retain protein when there's no food around. I mean, there's a lot of advantages to take testosterone if you're a warrior, right?
Yeah.
And then what they figured out, I mean, so then after that, the Russians said, okay, there's too many side effects with testosterone. Maybe we should look into making, I mean, testosterone has anabolic and androgenic properties. Androgenic means it makes me more male, like you shave more often, you know, and then anabolic is like building tissue. But the problem with testosterone is that if you use large quantities, your prostate gets beat up. I mean, there's a lot of, even the brain will start to shrink if you take too much testosterone. So there was a American doctor called John Ziegler who said, why don't I make a molecule that is less androgenic and more anabolic? And then after that, it prompted a whole market, so big pharmaceuticals decided to develop different anabolic steroids. But
including we were talking Germans before SAS, or we were talking Russians before?
From what we has known is that the Russians were the first ones to use testosterone injections.
Okay.
For some reason, the SS picked up on that and started to give it to the troops.
Okay.
But the SS, they were the only ones who were getting testosterone injections.
Okay.
And then there's a country that shall remain nameless where most of the steroid research we know for performance was done on special forces.
Okay.
Okay, because they figured out if this elite group does an anabolic, and the guy.
Is this Russia as well, or?
No.
Oh, okay. It's not America.
I'm not going to
Okay. All right. Okay.
But the point is that the military. You look at most things we use nowadays to save time. A lot of it was developed by the military, like airplanes came about.
Right.
I mean,
GPS.
Yeah, stuff like that. But then people say, okay, if I could take a bomb and cross the ocean, I can bomb the hell out of Germany or England or whatever. So the point is that the military tends to push progress, and then the civilian industry is second to pick up. So most of the research done on steroids and athletic performance was actually done on special forces, because back in those days, the walk there or parachute there, the ability to sustain injuries, come back from injuries, and this researcher spent 45, 50 years doing that. And it's too bad that it's not that well known, because medical doctors can now access that and say, okay, this is the best thing to repair a bone, this is the best thing to repair a tendon, because different anabolic steroids act differently. Like in gerontology, there's a lot of applications, like on osteoporosis, but it's not a dose that a bodybuilder would take, but it certainly would help the health of a lot of people, because the problem is, you know, like I said in the beginning, we've been making 1% less testosterone per year since 1950. So men find it much harder to function with less testosterone. You know, my grandfather had 16 kids, you know, and I think my grandmother was, I don't know how old she was, but to make 16 kids, I mean, she was pregnant 21 times, so you obviously had quite a bit of testosterone. Right?
That's crazy.
Probably more testosterone than village. Yeah.
All right, so the Russian team doping since the 50s.
30s.
At 30s. And has everyone known this
Oh, yeah.
for a long time? The movie was just it coming out.
I had one of my athletes who competed in cycling, and he competed in Seoul, Korea, and he was like in the pit, and the Russians said they won the event he was in, and he goes, "These Germans will win the next event," and he said, "Why?" "Yeah, better drug for that event." Like he was known for years.